7 Anxiety coping tips and stresses you should avoid. The reason why we fail to be receptive to many anxiety coping tips is because our minds work on another level. Boundaries block our focus, which is completely controlled by excessive worry, negativity, and lack of self-control. It is difficult to slow down when our minds are in this condition. Furthermore, even while on vacation we feel so exhausted and out of it that we may experience an anxiety attack. On the other hand, it's necessary to note that many strategies and anxiety coping tips are limited to treating the symptoms, but not the root of the problem. Practicing meditation, going out for a walk, or even taking a sedative can help us placate the symptoms, but the issues that set off our anxiety are still present within us. Therefore, it's necessary to know what to avoid while suffering from anxiety. This will allow us to better understand the demon inside of us, in order to control it, weaken it, and take back control of our lives. Don't brood over things. Stop those wandering thoughts in their tracks. Stop. Break the cycle of persistent thoughts that rob you of your peace and stability throughout the day. We must be conscious of the moment in which a thought, an image, a phrase, or a memory begins to be persistent in our minds. Once we identify a wandering thought, we must divert our attention towards something more relaxed and positive. Playing sports, painting mandalas, or having a conversation with someone you trust can be some of the best anxiety coping tips. Don't run or hide from your problems. Perhaps your job causes you so much anxiety that you've decided to quit. Maybe your problems with your significant other are so serious that you prefer to spend more time out of the house, and come home late and these behaviors are direct ways to run from what worries and confuses us. Don't carry today's troubles over into tomorrow. If you do, you'll accumulate more and more worry, anguish, and frustration in your mind, and there won't be room for anything else. Don't worry about things that haven't happened yet. If I do this, that will happen. Or, if I say this, that will occur. And, for instance, if I change that, what I don't want to happen will definitely happen. And if these types of thoughts sound like you, keep in mind that they are the hallmark of the most noxious and debilitating type of anxiety that human beings may suffer. Catastrophic thoughts prevent us from living in a full and receptive way. No one has a crystal ball with which to see what may or may not happen tomorrow. So, focus your attention on the present and control the negativity. Relax, don't monitor yourself so much, and those who have suffered more than one anxiety attack fear that it may happen again. Sometimes they worry so much about recurring attacks that their fear actually causes new attacks. We should avoid over-monitoring ourselves, checking our heartbeat, our heart rate, and thinking things like, if I go in there, you'll get nervous, or if I do that, you'll lose control. We must be capable of changing this habit and allowing ourselves to live openly and confidently, facing our fears, because doing so will allow us to find peace and stability. Don't try to live without anxiety, that isn't the key. This is a very common error. We think that anxiety is an enemy to avoid at all costs. The secret to one of the best anxiety coping tips is to find a balance. It is acceptable to live with anxiety, but avoid letting it control you. We must understand that anxiety is part of every human being. It helps us survive and avoid taking unnecessary risks, and even gives us energy and the motivation to obtain what we want. However, when anxiety transforms into an emotion that paralyzes us, controls us, and robs us of our happiness, it's time to take action. We must find the root of the problem. We must sit down and have a conversation with ourselves, and transform negative emotions into positive ones. There are people that you must avoid when you suffer from anxiety. It can seem strange, but on occasions the focal point of our anxiety can stem from a certain person who robs us of our happiness on a daily basis. That person may be a partner, or a complicated, harmful relationship that transforms us into someone we are not. It may be a complete situation, such as a work environment to which we are not fully acclimated. Also, we may feel out of place or vulnerable with our own nuclear family. The best thing to do in these cases is to identify the focal point of our anxiety and establish possible escape routes or actions to take in order to solve the problem. Don't stop living. Anxiety robs you of precious time. Even though we don't realize it, it's happening. Anxiety is stealing our lives, our will, our hope, and even our identities. Anxiety coping tips help us prevent anxiety from turning us into someone else. This could be someone whom we do not like, and who is nothing like the person we were before. Don't allow this to happen. Don't let this identity thief steal your persona and happiness and leave you with nothing. Take control, grab the reins and search within yourself to find the problem and possible solutions. Remember, when it comes to managing anxiety, it is necessary to use a multidimensional approach. Medications are useful, but we must also include some cognitive behavioral therapy, relaxation techniques, and support from family and friends for the best balance of anxiety coping tips.